Hey man, how's it going?
Howdy doody.
Howdy doody. What are you up to today?
Just made myself some soup for
How
dinner.
was it?
Haven't had it yet. I was in preparation for this and I'll have it afterwards. But it smells pretty good.
What was it? What's the type?
Oh, it was one of those ready-made things where you just it's like just add to water.
I'm sure it'll be good. And that as well, welcome everyone back to Bite My Shiny Metal Cast, season 2, episode 17. Bender gets made. Um, yeah. So you and I were talking a little off mic beforehand, but you're not really a big crime drama guy. Is
You
that
see
correct?
one of them, you see them all.
So I know that's just not true. But why are you not a fan of them? Like, what is there
Oh,
just something about
who
them that you're
who
not
did
really?
this? And then like this is back in like the 90s with the early credit stuff was like and
Uh,
guest starring Anthony.
no, that
Anthony
wasn't a
was the one that did
thing.
it.
Wasn't a thing.
It
I'm
was
talking
so a
like, but
thing.
I'm talking criminal, like crime dramas, like we could talk gangster shows or movies, right? Like, have you seen, like,
That's
did you ever see?
gangster stuff though. It's not
That's
crime
crime
shows.
drama, man. Those are crime dramas. So that's what I'm saying. Like when you watch gangster movies, like
So
Casino,
NCIS is also a crime drama.
that's a procedural. They're
It's a
different. That's what I'm
crime
talking about.
drama.
Those are the ones you're thinking of with that, like you've seen one, you've seen them all because they always have a similar thing. Those are procedurals. I'm talking crime dramas, serials, like True
Then
Detective.
no, because you're changing the definition.
I'm not changing. You can look it up yourself. You can honestly look
Nah.
it up yourself. But in any case, this episode of Futurama, Bender Gets Made, is very reminiscent of these things. They're taking their own little comedy spin to it because obviously with the mafia and everything. So I was just curious, having never really watched these shows, what are your thoughts on the episode as a whole when you see it? Do you just see it as a Futurama episode that's just like a one-off character type of thing, or do you see it like, oh, it's kind of a weird genre. Like, why do I watch this episode?
Because it's Futurama, not because it's a crime thingy.
But what do you think of the crime thingy in it? Like, does it do anything for you with it,
No,
or is it just kind of like, oh, it's just another episode of Futurama?
just another episode of Futurama.
Is it fair then to say it's not your favorite of this season?
No, that's fine.
It's fine,
But
yeah,
like, I just
obviously,
feel like you're trying to
which we'll get
twist
into.
things here. As like it's just a Futurama
Honestly,
episode.
I'm honestly just asking a question because
Sure.
I know who you are, right? Because I know how long I've known you and all this kind of stuff. I know what you like and I know what you watch. So I'm curious what your opinions are for this particular episode versus one like we did last time, right? With the Deep South, which has nothing to do with this kind of genre. It was just like a fun little fantasy thing.
It's just a Futurama episode, man. Like you're trying to make a big deal about it for some reason.
No, just seeing your opinion because I really like this episode because of the crime drama thing, right? Because I'm a big fan
Uh-huh.
of them. But in any case, we begin the episode. Nothing crazy going on there, but they have what's it simulcast on Crazy People's Feelings. This is like the little thing on the bottom. Reminds me a little bit in the episode where they go to the nut house, like when they go to the robot nut house, and like the guy's doing them a tour, and like he has like the little antennas on his teeth, and they're actually like picking up
Picking up. Yeah.
the things. That's kind of reminds me of. Anyway, we open up and the trio, right, the original three, they're heading to what's this guy's name? Elzar,
Elzar,
right? And they're going
a
to his
Neptunian.
a Neptunian Elzar, and he's going to TV's Elzar's cook show. So he's like the famous chef,
He's
right?
like the Gordon Ramsay of Futurama.
I was
Oh no,
wondering
no,
that.
no, no,
Not
no.
Gordon Ramsay. Yeah,
There's a
he's another
guy.
guy.
There's a guy.
Guy
I can't remember
Fieri.
his name. No, 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 not that guy. But like he would be like bam all the time, which also Elzar does.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember who it is too, but he's definitely like a mock interpretation of this
He
guy,
was
right?
this guy was like a '90s sensation for cooking and
Right.
stuff like that. And
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to him, to be honest. I think he just, it was just one of
Well,
those things that just fell out.
the fact that he's like we can't even remember a guy's name, right? Like he's in the culture somewhere, but I can't remember. I think maybe it's just Elzar we remember. But in any case, Elzar is Bender's hero, right? Because Bender secretly wants to. Well, it doesn't really secretly want to. He wants to cook. He tells everybody he wants to cook. He does all these things, and Elzar's show as they're watching it, they're right in the front row, and Bender distracts him to a point, and Elzar gets fed up and decides to listen to what Bender's saying. Something about like was it the Spice Weasel?
Yeah.
And
Spice Weasels.
his Spice Weasel, which I love this kind of idea. The Spice Weasel comes up like every time we see him almost, doesn't it? Like almost.
Always at his restaurant, he's just like, it's like, and here's a Spice Weasel to put some spice on it. Bam!
Bam! Right, yeah, exactly. Always like he pulls the tail and it just squirts out like some kind of spice.
From its
Any
nose.
case,
Yeah.
Yeah, out of its nose. In any case, he accidentally blinds Leela at this whole thing, so it's just a whole muck
Because
up.
Bender kind of like not
Distracted him and made
not
him
really,
want
but
to
just
do it
he
more.
just kept like you gotta take it up a notch again, Elzar, take it up a notch, and Elzar's like, against my wishes, I will take it up another notch.
Yes. Well, if you promise to stop distracting me, right, then I will, right? Yeah. So he does it. Leela's going there, and unfortunately, Leela's blinded for like the majority of this episode, if not the whole episode.
Pretty much all of it till the end.
Yeah, she's still in it, obviously, but she has to wear like that, the blind, or no, like an eye patch. So they put an eye patch over her, and she only has one eye, so she literally is blind for the entire show. Now, as they're going through here, Elzar shows up at the hospital when they're getting all this stuff, and he offers to cook them. I want to underline this: cook them food, because you can hear it in his wording. He's very, very smart for this. But he's like, I'll cook you guys something very, very nice, as like to apologize. And they're like, oh, wow, thank you. Obviously thinking that it's going to be on the house or something. And before we leave the scene, there's also with like, why is Zoidberg in like the hospital gown there? Like, does he work at this hospital too? What's going on here?
I think because he's a doctor, he's just, it's one of those things that he can be accepted anywhere. It's like other doctors can go visit other hospitals and kind of do some partial work there or something.
No, I mean you could, I suppose, yes.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I think you need something to do so. But that guy clearly doesn't want him there.
Well, I just love it just because Zoidberg's like, I bet I've lost more patients than you've even treated.
Yeah,
kind of thing, which is
younger,
like
right.
all of them.
I do love. Well, okay, so this is another thing as well. Did you catch it, right? When he's like, how dare you think that you could do much better than me because of this and your real diploma, right? And he says real diploma, and implying that Zoidberg does not have one. So there's another like thing towards him not being an actual doctor that they hint at. But then he also thinks that pills are candy. So he takes them and he's like super relaxed.
Why all the violence?
Why all the fighting? Oh my God, I'm coming down. So I loved the Zoidberg in this scene. It was very, very good. So Elzar is going to cook them a nice dinner. And this is everybody, right? The whole Planet Express crew, I guess, gets invited to this, which is really nice. So do you remember what everybody gets for their food?
Not in particular. I know that Bender got some kind of like flambe, but for robots.
Sterno
Hermes got jerked everything, because apparently jerked chicken is a Jamaican thing.
Jerked meat. Yep. Is there any meat this guy can't jerk? Right. Right.
Giggity.
Zoidberg gets a king crab.
King crab. Yeah. I love that one because he's like, it's got a little crown on it. No. Oh, how was it? It was made out of wood.
Yeah. What's it taste like? Wood. Leela gets a salad, which she ends up eating the pot plant in the middle.
She can't see. Yeah.
She can't see it. So that's pretty good.
What did Amy get?
So Amy and Fry weren't really, and the professor weren't really mentioned, but Amy on her plate, it's a steak.
Looks like a steak, yeah.
Looks like some kind of steak.
Fry gets a burger.
And the professor just says steamed carrot.
That steamed carrot was a little spicy for him.
Spicy for him, apparently. So, but yeah, they all look like they're having a good time. They're all enjoying it. They're all wearing like their nice fancy clothes at Elzar's. It's a nice place.
Yeah.
Any case,
I've never seen Fry wear anything nice other than the one episode with the 70s guy or whatever, where he wore a suit.
Oh, his suit, right? Yeah, that's right. Oh no, he also wears a little bit of one with in how Hermes requisitioned his groove back when he's the assistant or whatever.
Right, okay,
he wears a little bit of a fancier getup. Yeah, this one he's like pretty decked out. He's wearing like a turtleneck,
and like a jacket. Yeah.
He's cleaned up a bit. That's true.
Have you been to a restaurant where there's like a dress code where you have to look nice like that?
Have I? Of course.
Yeah. I don't believe I have.
I wonder why.
Because I don't care to go to those things and pay $50 for a chicken nuggets.
So if I were to invite you to one of those, would you go?
No. Well, first off, we don't live in the same city, so no.
If you were visiting, or if I were visiting and I found a good spot, would you go?
Probably not, just because it'd be $100.
If I was offering to pay.
Yeah, okay.
And you had to wear the clothes, would you go?
Yeah, okay, but you'd have to also buy me the clothes.
You say you don't have a suit at home?
No, I don't think so. I do have dress pants. I
So
like those dress
therefore, you
pants.
should come back to Calgary, where I would be, and then we can go for that dinner, and then you can enjoy a nice fancy dinner. Then you can say, "Oh, I was dressed up as nice as Fry."
And I hated it. And I hated
And I hated every
minute
second
of
of it. So turns out, as we see, right, Elzar, nah, he was not actually putting it on the house. He was just cooking them a nice dinner, and there's a bill. Tell you the truth, that bill for how many guests is that? Eight people? Is that correct?
6.
Six people? Six people only?
Yeah. We got
Fry, Professor.
Bender, Fry, Leela, Professor Hermes, and
7
Amy.
was Zoidberg.
Yeah, 7. Yeah, 7. Sorry.
Okay. Sorry. 7 people. $1,200. That doesn't seem that bad, actually. That's just, I mean, it's
$200 per person.
But it doesn't seem that
less
bad.
than $200.
But for that kind of, like, that's including, they clearly have drinks, and they clearly have all this other stuff they could have had too, right? I don't know. Doesn't seem that big a deal for today's standards, because I have seen meals where like $500 is like normal for like one person. Yeah. So any case, too expensive. They can't pay. Elzar says, "I can deal with this." Calls the police. They're about to get arrested, and we see the cops. This is not the first time, right? Because we've seen them in episodes before.
Yeah, they were literally in the first episode, but I don't know if Earl had any lines.
Any lines, right? He did have in the episode where Bender was not Bender. I'm trying to remember the episode now. We've done so many of these, my friend. So many. The
26.
With the centipede character on the TV, and Leela asks.
That was like the beginning, like little like setup thing. Like it was establishing.
But they're both
setup.
Yeah, they're both there though, right? The cops thing, right?
Okay, yeah. So
we hear Earl there. I'm not sure if we've heard him before. I think we have, but I'd have to double check again. But in any case, yeah, we get more conversation with these guys, and
I also like his name because it's URL, but they pronounce it rather than to go URL.
You know what's funny as well is that this is another robot human duo, with Billy West and John DiMaggio, just like Fry and Bender.
Just with Earl John DiMaggio?
Earl is John DiMaggio, yeah.
Awesome.
Ooh, yeah, that's John DiMaggio. So, any case, they're about to get arrested. Bender has the idea, like, oh, you know what? Maybe can I help Elzar and cook at his place for a little bit and pay off the debt? And everyone's like, yeah, Bender's great. Bender could do this. And they got off the hook, right? So Bender gets to work for him. He wants to cook for him, but he can't. I think he just does a whole bunch of cleaning duties, I guess. So
he has grease all over him and stuff like that.
Grease traps
I think he was like, I'm done cleaning up the bathroom. Now, am I going to be a saucier or lead chef? Like, what's my next thing? Right? It's like, nah, you're going to continue cleaning up crap.
He gives him a plunger and goes like, bam. Yeah, Elzar's actually, you know what? Elzar might be. I'll get to that afterwards, but he's only in it at the beginning of the show, but it's still pretty funny. Any case, move on to the next scenes with so Leela is also still working, right? She's still doing things with the Planet Express route despite the fact that she can't see.
She's essentially blind at this moment. Yeah.
She is absolutely blind. Like she literally has no eyes.
Have you ever had an eye injury before? Where you've had to wear an eye patch?
I have not. Have you had that?
No. I had like a little like skin graft or something like that on one of my eyelids, and I got it cut off back in high school, and I just had to wear dark glasses. That was really about it for an hour or two, because they dilated my eye, and it was the strangest thing in my life, because like they literally put a needle through my eyelid to numb it, right? And it was. Yeah, I don't remember. My mom says, "You were really rude to me that day." I'm like, "I'm sure I was, and I'm sorry."
Sure.
Mom.
Yeah. Well, you would have been in pain or like.
Yeah, I got stabbed, Mom, in the eyelid.
I got hit in the face with a baseball to one of my eyes, so I got a black eye, but it didn't impede my vision as far as I can remember. Yeah. But I did look. Horrible. So
my daddy beat me up. We all know that, Anthony. We all know.
Yeah.
But no, it's true this time.
So, any case, for whatever reason, Leela keeps on working. I think it's just because she's too prideful. She can't say that she's
a very prideful person. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now,
The professor makes a good joke here, but because Leela and Amy, they always kind of are like snarky at each other.
Yeah.
And what Amy's like, hey, why don't you let me help you with your makeup? And then Leela, being the prideful person, she says, no, I got this by myself. And of course, professor's like, my favorite artist was Picasso, which you look lovely because her makeup's all wrong,
all over her face, and it's covered. Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy you bring this up because I did write this down just for the sake of this. So this is actually breaking continuity of the professor, at least in the future with the Comedy Central run, because he states to Fry his favorite is Da Vinci, not Picasso, because the whole episode is based around.
Did you not say inventor for that one?
Yes, but I do think he's a huge Da Vinci, like he collects everything of his, right? Like paraphernalia, his art, everything. Like he is up there, right? So he does say, incidentally, yeah, Picasso is my favorite, and I'm like, haha. That changes in the future, or at least
as a person who's taken art history 3-4 times, 3 different classes, and I failed one and I had to retake it.
Yes, good clarification there. You did not take the same art history class all 4 times.
No. It was art history 1, art history 2. I had to take art history 1 twice, and then there was pop art history, which was like so stupid. Guys, just because it's I took a urinal and put it on stage doesn't make it art. You can talk about it. It doesn't make it art.
Even though a guy pretends to be perfectly fine, then he trips over a stool, and then he cries in front of the stage for two. Let's see, how long? How long was that? 10 minutes.
Oh God,
that does not make it art.
Oh God, you can't sit with your friends. Why can't I sit with friends? It's part of the experience.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting back with Janelle, and you were like kind of over by the side. You're looking like, oh, I wish I had done that. She's like, yeah, I wish you did too. So
anyway,
yes,
everybody, remember, although people might say it's art, it's not always art.
No, it's not always art. But how do you feel about it? I feel angry because you made me come and look at this stupid thing. It's not art. Well, there we go. You're emoting. It's like, yes, I'm emoting anger because I'm here for no reason.
A car crash is art.
Yeah, exactly. The stool that fell down. It's art. No.
Up is art because you feel bad.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's an interpretation. How do you feel? You just beat me up for no reason. You didn't even hire me.
I will argue if the guy is getting beat up in a very stylistic way, I could
martial
say
art.
It's
a
that's
martial
performance arts, yeah. But in any case, so a little of a strange thing. I mean, you could be.
Yeah. All I'm saying is just that Da Vinci wasn't just an artist. He did a whole bunch of other stuff too, which
Absolutely.
I would defend the professor on for this.
Right. We can argue the fact that doesn't break it, but I did think in my head like, pretty sure you said his favorite artist was Da Vinci, but.
I think he said inventor, but that was a fun episode. That's a
great episode, and I do look forward to doing that episode. Actually, that one's really good. One of my favorites of the series. Any case, we have it here. So thank you for bringing that up, by the way, because it's nice to see with them all making fun of her and all this kind of stuff. And meanwhile, Bender is still working at the Elzar's, right? And we get an introduction to some new characters who I don't think we've actually seen before. Correct? Because we're introduced to them as the Robot Mafia.
Maybe. Maybe it was the Dawn Bot is the new one. Because I swear that we saw Mousepad and Clamps beforehand. But when I was drawing all the stuff for the thumbnails, I might have watched past where we are. So I don't remember. But definitely the Dawn Bot. I think this is the first time we see the Dawn Bot.
Right. It was I'll say as well, like perfectly playing like that the Italian American Dawn Bot, right? Like the Godfather type of thing. This is Maurice LaMarche. Yeah, perfectly performing this. It's very good. I believe Billy West is Clamps. And again, DiMaggio is Johnny.
They're a good duo. They work together. They already had a season at this point doing Fry and Bender. So I'm mind you, they change things up for how they record things because sometimes they will have people record together. But for the most part, from what I understand, they have people record separately. And I don't know if they have like I don't even know what the word is for this, but they obviously have a person reading the line with them, sort of thing. So like actor would talk and then the director might do the other stuff. Is like, okay, now, so like Bender would say this, okay, now Billy West to US Fry would say kind of thing. So maybe they just have good chemistry and they're like, we're going to put you two together. You guys can ad lib together and stuff like that. So maybe they got more comfortable with each other, which is why I love their back and forth. Because we've seen, we've gone to comic expos and stuff like that in Calgary. Where they do these things. What did they read? Yeah. I think they read, was it the Princess Diaries that they read?
I honestly can't remember. I remember them just doing lines from different things. It may have been
Yeah.
Princess Diaries, but you're right, because
they had them do
not the.
Clamps and.
Do you mean the Princess Bride?
Did I say that? Or did I say
thought you said
Diaries?
Princess Diaries.
Princess
Like the Anne
Bride.
Hathaway movie, or are you
No,
talking about
Princess Bride. I don't
Princess
love Anne
Bride,
Hathaway
right,
in those
yeah.
movies. What are you talking about? Princess
Right.
Bride.
Princess Bride? Yes, Princess. That does kind of ring a bell. I do remember one
They
of
could have
them
done that.
maybe
Could have been on
saying.
YouTube. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, it could have been on YouTube. I remember they did Star Wars at
I like
one of
that
the
one.
Comic
That one was
Cons or
fun.
something. I did watch that one.
Yeah, those were
No,
good.
whatever it was, I do recall them doing lines from something, and a bunch of them were there, right?
It was a
DiMaggio,
lot of ad libbing, but like as their character, but reading as like as from Princess Bride. They would read those characters, and I think they got them to play Clamps and Mousepad, and of course they just feed off each other really well. So that, mind you, that was what, about 10 years ago at this point. Futurama had already been
must have
around
been.
for over a decade, and they've probably worked with each other multiple times before and after that. So they've obviously would have chemistry with each other. But
and they also do their table reads, right?
Yes,
like
yes,
when they have
exactly.
these
Yes,
strips.
yes,
So
yes.
obviously they have to be there together to try and get those accurate voicing and everything for the first part. But no, that's true. So it is nice to see them together. But yeah, the three of them, as the Dawnbot puts it later, the entire Robot Mafia,
There's three people.
they're great, man. I thoroughly enjoy the Dawnbot and his minions. I think they're wonderful characters, even if Clamps can get a little annoying sometimes, but most of the time they're pretty funny.
I like Clamps because he's supposed to be that annoying guy, but I also like Mousepad because he's like, what's that over here, over there, over where, or something like that.
Because he's like the dumb guy, right? He's the dumb big guy.
He's a dumb big guy.
Because I know you haven't really seen these, so like in a lot of crime movies, right? And specifically like Scorsese, because they're taking a lot of like from Scorsese and Coppola and all these kinds of things. You had these, like Johnny Mousepad is wearing like this is he wearing like a tank top or something, right? Like a white tank top or whatever over his body, or what is he wearing?
I think the thing that there's a couple episodes where they're in like doing laundry or something like, because laundromats launder money, so they do stuff like that.
Sure, some of the sort. So they have these things, but like Mousepad is clearly like a rip on a couple of those types of characters, like the big tough guy,
the big chain
smart.
And stuff like that. I like because he literally has a mouse pad on his chest.
That's why they call
with the chain with the mouse.
Then, Clamps is literally just like the assassin. He's the guy that just goes in and he's based. You know who he is? He's based on
hothead.
Al Pacino. He's Al Pacino. Oh, really? Sorry, not Al Pacino. Not Al Pacino. Sorry. Oh my God, I'm missing his name. The guy who's in, because this is the movie you'll know him from, is Home Alone.
Marty. Dang it.
Yeah.
Harry is his name in Home Alone. I know that. And as soon as you said that, the name disappeared in my mind. Joe Pesci.
Joe Pesci. Thank you so much. Yes, Joe Pesci. He's Joe Pesci.
Okay, yeah. I've seen bits and pieces of those movies. So yeah, I don't know that. By the way, side note, just for Home Alone, because he couldn't swear because it was a kids movie, he had to create his own language, so because he couldn't swear.
Yeah, because he's doing that stuff. Yeah, no Joe.
But
Pesci
now that you've mentioned that, it's like that's perfectly Pesci.
So that's exactly what West.
The little hot-headed guy.
Yes. And then the Dawnbot is clearly taking, obviously, from the Dawn, like the Godfather, but also a little bit from the Godfather portion of Robert De Niro, because they're playing like that kind of thing. When Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci, thank you again, worked a lot together during the Scorsese films, like a lot together. So it's interesting to see that they do it very, very well. Any case,
that's kind of how most of the stuff was in the 90s, like for the voice actors, because we've seen this whole time was like Maurice LaMarche, when he saw the brain, he's like, that's Orwell.
Oh, Orwell, right.
So he did that, and they're like, but that wasn't our intention for you to do Orwell, but now we can't unsee it, so keep it that way. And that's how they got a lot of their jobs, was doing impressions of people. And
that's exactly it.
A person nowadays, like say around our age, 20 to 40 years old, who's an actor, can you think of anyone that has a distinct voice or a distinct like acting way? Like for instance, not that this person's in the acting range, but crap, I instantly forgot his name. He played King Louis in the live action version of
Christopher Walken.
Christopher Walken. He has a very unique way of talking and doing stuff. So he was perfectly one of the people that people would impersonate. I can't think of one that's around our age, give or take 10 years.
They all sound kind of similar now, don't they? They all have that kind of thing. I think it's also because the way that media works nowadays is that they kind of want everything to sound like mediocre because they don't want to have like that character. Like there's not a lot of movie stars anymore, as a lot of people have
the movie
mentioned. It's
star has
mostly
been
about
killed.
characters.
Yeah.
So I think they just kind of want their actors to kind of portray the characters and have this. But I think, yeah, you're right. There's not a lot of like Tom Cruise doesn't have a identifying voice next to like.
He kind of does. Like maybe when he was a little crazier, like 15 years ago. Yeah.
But again, it still sounds like a normal voice, I guess. Like there is no character thing. Like Christopher Walken, it very much has a distinct accent, right? So
or Samuel L. Jackson or
Samuel
Snoop
Jackson
Dogg.
is there. Snoop Dogg, I guess, does, but again,
mind you, these guys are all in like their 50s, 60s, and 70s kind of thing. Snoop Dogg's been in a lot of stuff, man. He's an actor at this point.
I guess I still see him more as a
yes, that's a musician. He's more of a musician than he is an actor, but he's been in so many things at this point. He's an actor. But just stuff like that. Like there's not a lot of people that you can
Owen Wilson's also quite old too. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Wow.
We were growing up with these.
He's on the younger side of that.
Yeah, like he's like the voice is just it's like,
wow.
He picks it
That's
up.
all I can do for him.
Wow. I could do
a little higher,
but yeah. Any case.
Yeah, just all I'm saying is that there's not a lot of people to impersonate nowadays. That's roughly our age.
Yeah, it's all from
even people in the 40s. Other than accents, which a lot of the things you're not supposed to do for some reason.
But we have the characters here, so they go there. They want a table. Table is taken, I guess. Bender shows, and he's like, "Oh, here, let me take care of this for you." And he like does a little trick, but then it turns out he's like, "No, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to do this." He's like,
the tablecloth trick,
right?
Yeah.
Like all this stuff, and they're like clap for him. I will say as well, I know it's not him, but the character model is the vet. The veterinarian is the male, is like the father there. I mean, it could be him, but they're just using that model for the episode. I thought he looked familiar.
The one where they're trying to figure out how old Nibbler was. Yeah.
So that's the veterinarian right there.
Again, it's one of those things where you probably, mind you, this is just one of those older ones, but you have like 20 characters for background characters.
Yeah.
And this is probably just one of them because they do that over and over again. The number 6 guy or number 9 guy?
Number 9 guy.
Number 9 guy was a background character, although I think that was on purpose at some point to be the number 9 guy.
And then Randy's in that restaurant as well, but he doesn't speak, so we don't know anything about Randy yet. But that character model is right there. Yeah. So any case,
it's with a heterosexual family. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So the robot mafia sits down and they thank Bender for his lack of tact. And over the course of the meal, Bender keeps trying to like swindle the Don bot.
Yeah, I love the balls of Bender because he's like, yeah, here's your change. He's like, whoa. There's supposed to be $100 change. Nah, I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be 50.
Yeah, it's like I gave you like $100. He's like, no, you didn't. He's like, you trying to steal from the Don bot? He's like, I am, but he's not making it easy. And then he starts laughing. So luckily the Don bot has like a soft spot for Bender, I guess,
sense
or
of
he's
humor,
just really dumb, whatever the case is. So any case, they really like him and they decide, you know what? Why don't you do a job for us and we can see if you're material for our organization. And they have to do Bender has to do a delivery of some lottery, like a fake lottery thing, a numbers game, and he has to give it to someone. But the police are there again, and they're in a place called, what is it here? Little Bitaly, which is clever, right? Bit being like a computer thing. It's clever. So like the Italian robot area of New York, I guess. We never really see it again. And we also get a reintroduction to Tinny Tim. He's there. And selling oil aid, and he's being a cute little robot, and he's
like lemonade but with oil. Robots, they're so funny.
Robots, everything is robot in this community. So Bender gets searched, they can't find anything. Turns out Tinny Tim did it for him. It's all good, and the Robot Mafia is really impressed, and they invite him to do some crimes with them. So they bring him over to their headquarters. What is this place called? The Fronties Meat Market. Fronties. I mean, it's okay. It's an okay name, I guess. It's not really clever, I don't think. Just
like it's a front.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. It's just called Fronties. It's just
not a front since 2997.
Yeah. So clearly a lie. But I do like their secret headquarters is inside the freezer because they're robots. They can deal with the cold and everything. So that has like a completely hidden area. And yeah, the Donbot sits on like a giant ice cube.
It's what I use for the thumbnail for this guy.
That's right. Yeah. And the robots are are gonna like kill this guy who owes them money or whatever, or give him a warning, I guess, with a bunch of bullets.
I do like the look into your heart drive or something like that.
Yes,
That was pretty funny.
I actually wrote that down. I was like, this is pretty clever writing. Look into your hard drive and open your mercy file, and the Dom mercy not found.
And then they shoot him a whole bunch of times. Yeah, file not found. They shoot him a whole bunch of times, but it's a robot, so he's like, "Thank you, Donbot."
Let that be a lesson to you. Yeah, exactly. I actually do really like this episode. It's very, very clever for what they do. So anyway, Bender shows up and he's going to help them out, and he becomes the character Blotto for this, because that's what he's using. He already has street cred with that name apparently, so that's his mafia name, Blotto, and he's going to join them for a heist.
I do like the fact that Mousepad was like, "Hey, we should call him Clamps." And Clamps was like, "You idiot," kind of thing. The Joe Pesci, like, "You idiot, that's my name." Ah!
And then later when the Dom says like, "Oh, Bender, maybe we'll get you a pair of clamps, eh?" And then he's like, "Clamps."
But with this,
like that seems to be his whole identity is his clamps, right? So
well, that's what these characters are. They're kind of like the one note, right?
Well, when we do see the episode where Bender has to go into protective custody and Clamps joins, that one is immaculate, wonderful writing for that episode. I'm so happy about that episode. But Clamps is such a good character with that. Any case, the Donbot obviously tells Bender, "You need an alibi because we may do some like illegal things that might be illegal." So Bender pretends to be sick on a delivery, but he doesn't know the delivery, obviously. And Leela's still going to pilot the ship despite being blind. She's still blind. And there's a voice recorder that Bender's made for all this kind of stuff. So Robot Mafia, turns out their heist is going to be something for Zubin, not Cuban, Zubin, wherever that comes from, cigars.
Zuba.
What's Zuba?
It's like Cuba. Because it's Cuba, Cuban.
No,
cigars.
I know. Okay,
Zuba, Zubin.
Can you tell me where Zubin is, Mitchell?
Probably somewhere near Zuba. I don't know. It's a play on words because it's just
I thought you were going to correct me as if I didn't know where Zuba was. Yeah, and I'm like,
you didn't know where Zuba is? Like you don't know? It's just off of the United States.
United States.
Yeah.
United States, huh?
Yeah. No,
nice.
Zates. ZT doesn't actually make a noise, does it?
No, those aren't really good. Yeah. But it turns out the Zubin cigars are from Planet Express crew, right? This Planet Express ship is going to be taking them. They're transporting them. Bender freaks out. Does like his little spitting out his oil for like a little too long. I think this joke went on a little long, but whatever the case, he's freaking out. And he pretends to
have a core stable for Bender now. He either spits something out or he does doomed for way too long. It's just one of his things. Or he gasps so long.
He does right?
I don't know. Just
this episode as well, but
yeah, it's just one of the things that maybe John DiMaggio did or something like that. They're like, you know what? Let's keep that. Let's keep
you
that.
Make any weird noises, John DiMaggio? He's like, well, I can spurt for a long time. He's like, okay, cool, yeah, spit out for a long time and see what happens. Yeah. So Bender's freaking out. The Robot Mafia don't know any different, and the Planet Express crew think that Bender is sick. Right. Yeah. So they start shooting at him. At the Planet Express crew, and Fry is the only one who can see anything. So he, to his credit, pilots the ship using like strings. He somehow figures out some string mechanism that he sets up in the what would you call that? Like the pilot, not the pilot, like the.
Oh crap! I forget. There was an actual term for it, because like this is what they had in World War II. They'd have like I can't remember what it would be called, a gunner sphere or something like that.
Sure, like I'll call it the gunner's sphere or the gunner's deck. Like it's a place where they have the laser cannon, right? Because the Planet Express ship does indeed have defenses.
And as we discussed last episode, we're like, what makes a captain, space captain kind of thing?
What makes a ship
or a spaceship,
right?
Yeah.
Versus
like a little dinky car that like I'm just gonna fly to the Mercury and go there for Mercury food or something like that.
Exactly. So any case, Fry's. He's holding his own. He's flying around, and Leela's like piloting things.
She has a food bowl, like a dog food bowl, which is Nibbler's food bowl.
Yeah.
Which she eventually figures out. She's like, wait a minute, why does this feel like Nibbler rather than what was it that she said? Do you remember?
Oh, jeez, I can't remember.
Like the steering wheel made by something. Yeah.
And so she gets back to the wheel, and then they start doing this. And any case, Clamps and Johnny Mouse had to have another like one-on-one banter thing, and Clamps like freaks out. He's like, "You want me to use my clamps again? Okay." Like, what a freaking genius! And he clamps onto their engine, shutting down the machine because he catches it because they're robots, obviously. So he has like super strength. So he just clashes onto the ship, holds it because they're in space and no gravity or anything. And they board, tie up Fry and Leela, and they get Bender.
Bender switches to an accent, an old English accent.
I would say this is comedy gold for John DiMaggio for this episode because he switches his like normal to King, and his accent is, "Oh, hello there. Like, what date is today?
Cheerio.
Like, cheerio, everyone. Like, oh, I could be quite the rough customer. Like, it's so well done.
Proper.
It's, like,
it's proper
hold
English.
On, man. Old Spice. Yeah, very old sport. Very, very old proper English type of pronunciation, we'll say. So they don't quite recognize it's Bender because he's too classy, I guess is the word. But then he does accidentally take off Leela's eye patch, but she doesn't still quite see him, just sees an outline, which he puts the patch back on really quickly. Nibbler recognizes him, but he puts a bucket on him, right, and a brick, so Nibbler can't do anything.
Well, this is also annoying because we
know, right?
We know.
Nibbler is, yeah, I know.
Nibbler hasn't revealed his self yet at this point, has he? Or
no, not for a long time. So at this point, Nibbler is just committed. We're gonna, in our minds, Nibbler is committed to being a spy,
a pet.
And he does not remember this situation, I guess, or he doesn't think it's necessary to remember. He is like over 1,000 years old. In any case, we have they're all tied up.
Yeah, and then someone says, "Well, oh no, what about Bender?" And then Bender really, "Oh crap, I gotta go pretend to kill myself or bash myself." So he's like, "Oh no, chap, I'll go do this." Yeah.
It's quite the rough customer. Yeah.
Yeah. And I love it too because he's just in there with a frying pan for some reason, and he's beating the tape recorder that he had, saving himself. And then he's like, "Yeah, I took care of him."
It's actually a genius idea. Like, he basically takes care of both of his alibi and the fact that he's like working as a double agent right now against the mafia to try and not kill his friends, right? So he beats the machine, and therefore he was, actually sick. And then as they're leaving and all this kind of stuff, the Dom bot is like, "Okay, we're gonna burn down the ship." It's so good. Burn down the ship and burn down the crew. Bender says like, "Oh, don't worry, I'll deal with it. You guys get out of here," or whatever. And then Bender goes to being Bender with them, pretending that he was there all along. They get freed, and then they head back to the Planet Express headquarters, I guess. And then it's time for Leela to remove her eye patch. She sees like the outline of what Bender thinks is him, but it turns out to be the professor. Professor, throwaway
joke. Where were you yesterday?
Yes.
Where am I now?
Where am I now? And then Tinny Tim shows up one more time, and he gives him the cut for the heist. And Bender says, like, "You know what? I don't think I need organized crime. I'm going to do better stuff, but you tell the Dawn bot thank you and all that fun stuff." And then Fry tells him at the end that he thinks he knows everything, and Bender just sits there counting and eating money.
Yeah, I don't know why he always eats the money. Like, it's just...
I think it's just to hide it. He's like, haha. That's all he does. And that's it. That is Bender Gets Made. So your overall thoughts of this?
Yeah, it was just a fun episode. There was nothing wrong with it.
I think a lot of good acting in this. Like, this episode, I think, has all of the people who would become the main cast, I think, except for Tress MacNeille. I don't think she was in the episode, but like Maurice LaMarche and what's his name here, or what's her name, Lauren Tom, right? Like, Amy's in it briefly and everything. So, all right, your MVP
and Frank Welker, who plays Nibbler.
But he's not speaking yet. But yeah,
he still does the voice. He still does the
right. Yeah.
He's a very weird voice actor because he does a lot of sound effects and stuff like that. He was actually the lion roar on The Lion King. And
wasn't he? You know what? Actually, I think he is actually playing Nibbler. I think he's also doing the Nibbler sound effects, right?
The weirdest thing in my mind is that he played Fred on the original run for Scooby-Doo.
That is his real voice.
That is his real voice, more or less. That he played
weird,
Fred, and it's just like, how old are you? And he's probably in his 70s at this point.
Oh yeah, no, he's an old guy. So what about your favorite? Do you have a favorite scene or anything? I have to admit, I enjoy the little Italy scenes. I also enjoy.
I'll just say when they were at the table at Elzar's and they're all enjoying their thing, and then he's like, "Here's your check," and they're like, "Why?" And then they got arrested. I like that bit.
Sure. Your MVP?
Bender, obviously.
Bender. Okay. Oh man, I'd go Donbot. I'm gonna go Donbot.
Donbot was pretty good.
I love the Donbot. Yeah.
Oh crap! No. That was the movie. No, I said yeah. Donbot was good in this one, but I think my favorite Donbot moment was the third movie or whatever it was.
Sure. No, he has a lot of
fourth movie. It was the fourth movie.
Good scenes, but yeah, for sure. No, that's fair. That's fair. All right. Well, that concludes then Bender Gets Made, and then next time I should say, we'll be going on to episode 18 of season 2, Problem with Poplars, and we will have a special guest star, another friend of ours, not the same from before, but another one who wanted to join, and we'll get his opinion.
And we're like, we got one for you.
Yeah, it's like, just tell us which one you want to do. So yeah, he'll join us for this one or for the next one. And hope to see you all guys next time. So thanks again, Mitchell, for joining me. We'll see you for the Problem with Poplars.
Yeah.